she said, no, because I've got people praying that we get home.
Yeah.
And we got home.
Yes, we did.
And I appreciate the Lord. And I appreciate Him helping us. But I may not preach a lot to Brother Sparks, and I feel like I more got an exhortation than maybe a full sermon or a message. But I don't really ever have a sermon. But a lot of people come out with 3 points in a poem, and I've never been able to do that, Brother Ronnie. I just get a few thoughts and try to put them on paper to help me keep them together, and that's about all I can do. But I do have something that I feel like the Lord laid on my heart before we left, and I thought maybe when we got back that Brother Sean Potter would be here, but things have changed. God knows what He's doing.
Yeah.
But the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 14, very, very familiar scripture. And I thought I've got this cough, these allergies. I helped my father with hay before we left. And we got down there next to the ocean, that salt water, and I didn't cough, I didn't sneeze. And we got about halfway home and I started coughing and started sneezing again. But I appreciate the Lord. Book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 14. We'll start reading at verse 9. It says, And the Philistines came and spread themselves in the valley of Rephaim. And David inquired of God, saying, Shall I go up against the Philistines? And wilt thou deliver them into mine hand? And the Lord said unto him, Go up, for I will deliver them in thine hand. So they came up to Belperazim, and David smote them there. Then David said, God hath broken in upon my enemies by mine hand, like the breaking forth of water. Therefore they called the name of that place Belperazim. And when they had left their gods there, David gave a commandment, and they were burned with fire. And the Philistines yet again spread themselves abroad in the valley. And therefore David inquired again of God. And God said unto him, Go up after them, turn away, go not up after them, turn away from them, and come up over against the mulberry trees. And it shall be, when thou shalt hear the sound of the going in the top of the mulberry trees, that then shalt thou go out to battle. For God is gone forth before thee to smite the host of the Philistines. Thank you for standing for the reading of the word. I thought we read here of 2 battles. Same enemy, but 2 battles.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, Brother Ronnie, every battle that I fight, it's the same enemy.
Right.
But it's a different battle.
Right.
And every battle that I fought, even though it's the same enemy, it's won a different way. And I began to think about that, and I've thought about it off and on for most of the week. And like I said, I wasn't really prepared to come in and preach tonight, but later on in the week we found out that Brother Sean wasn't going to be here. But I began to think about this, and just because the battle was won the first time, David went and inquired of God, and God said, Go, and I will render your enemy into your hands. And he did. And but just because he did it the first time, David didn't just take it for granted and say, all right, the Philistines is back, let's go get them.
Right.
He went back and he inquired of God.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And but the thing of this time, God told him to go away from them, not to go to them, but He told him to go up by the mulberry trees,
Right.
and wait till you heard the sound of the going therein.
Right.
And I thought, sometimes I've never been one for word studies, and I began to think about it, the going therein, and I looked that word up in its original Hebrew, and it could mean different things, And one thing was the going, and it mentioned the leg chains, and we know that the priests wore bells upon them, and they had chains around their legs and the bells, and you could hear it, and I mentioned Sister Kathy before we left, and she said, well, it could have just been he was waiting to hear the sound of the high priest as he walked across the top of the mulberry trees. But then another thing, it simply said the going or the moving forward.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like that's what he was waiting on, was the sound of the marching in the top of the tree. And I still thought that for me, we've all heard this preached, and he's not waiting for the sound on the ground, but he's waiting for the sound in the mulberry trees.
Come on.
And I began to think about that, and I thought, the sound that comes from God is above any sound that we've ever heard.
That's right.
I love what you hear in the service.
Right.
And the first song, we got a squeal. And no matter how good the singing was, or how anointed the singing was, when we get a squeal in the PA system, everybody looks at Brother Tom. I love you, Brother Tom. But that's just, he's got the board back there in his hand, and everybody, there's a squeal up here. Brother Tom goes, he tries to take care of it, and then we got a buzz. And Brother Lester realized the buzz was not the PA system, but it's the guitar amp. So he turned that off because Brother Tom was back here trying to fix the buzz, and he didn't have no control of it. It's over here in the corner. And I thought that's the way it is a lot of times with our problems in our lives. We're looking at all these situations and all these places where our problems could be instead of where God wants us to be focused in our attention.
Uh-huh.
I thought there's many times that our situations can overtake us. They can override us. They can simply overpower us.
Right.
But I thought there's circumstances that we cannot do anything with. And I thought with David, as he went back to the Lord, in verse 14 says, therefore David inquired again of God, and God said unto him, go not up after them, but go turn away from them and come up them over against the mulberry trees. There's a place that God wants us to be.
That's right.
And I thought it's in that place we can hear God.
Yeah.
I thought, we looked at, go back to Elijah, whenever he was fleeing from Jezebel, and he went up into the cave there, and he kept waiting for all the voice of God, and he waited, and I believe there was fire, and he wasn't in the fire. There was, I believe, maybe it was thunder and the different things that happened, and it was mighty sounds and something that was powerful that you would think surely God was moving in this.
Right.
But then it was that still small voice
Uh-huh.
that came by
Right.
and gave Elijah the direction that he needed for his life.
Oh,
A lot of times we're looking for something big, we're looking for something exciting, but we still need to be just waiting for the simple things
That's right.
that God wants for us. Oh, many times we try to figure things out all by ourselves, and it's not the will of God. He simply wants us to wait on Him.
Yeah.
That's something that's hard for us to do is wait on something.
Yeah.
And another thing that's hard for us to do is be dependent upon something.
That's right.
Be dependent upon someone. Sister Kathy, she doesn't like to drive, and she's a good driver, and I rode with her several times, but she don't like to drive. And I got down there and got sick. She thought she's going to have to drive home. I think she's about halfway sick. I mean, her nerves couldn't took it. And but the thing is, I'm saying, because she's got the ability to drive, Brother Tom, she still depends on me to do most of the driving.
Come on.
And once the kids were at home and David started driving, she hardly ever drove. They went somewhere. David done the driving, and he got a little older. And then a few years later, Laura come on, and she began to drive. And Sister Kathy didn't have to drive no more. She had Laura to drive her around. And still yet, if Laura's not going to work and they go to the grocery, they'll go together so Laura can do the driving. She preferred not to do those. She decided to be dependent upon that.
And I thought a lot of, and her oldest sister is even worse than she is. She'll call her mom to get her to take her to Richmond. She just won't drive at all. And I thought, and that's fine. But I thought a lot of times we have a problem with being dependent. And when it comes to that, we have a problem depending upon God, Brother Greg. We have a problem waiting and trusting in God to help us with their circumstance. You know, there's situations that arise, and sometimes we simply like people, you know, especially when it's our children. We enjoy them being dependent upon us.
Right.
We enjoy them having to trust in us to help us help them do things.
Right.
You know, Kyle's my grandson, and as long as he's been big enough to fish, I've taken him fishing.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was just a 2 or 3 year old, and he'd take a bait caster and cast it better than I could. And I remember when I was a grown man when I started using a bait caster, and I would throw them things, and I'd have the awfulest bird's nest you ever seen. And it just comes natural to him. He'd grab that thing and whiz it out there, and he fishes with them. And you know, but even though he was able to do those, there were still things that he, you know, I'd take him fishing, and I had to help him tie his baits on. Or if he was using a live bait, I had to help him put his bait on his hook. Or he'd catch a fish and he'd come and I'd have to help him get the hook out of its mouth. There were just things that he depended upon me to help him with.
Come on now.
And when we got back home and we got ready to go fishing the other day, and I went and got his rod and reel out, and the last time we used it, I don't know if he broke the hook off or the bait or whatever he had, but it didn't have nothing on it. And we got ready to hook it up, and he said, "Papa, I can tie that on myself." And I said, "You sure about that? I mean, you know, baits ain't cheap." And I said, "You sure about that?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Pop's bought some baits, and there was a piece of paper, and he's very good at following picture instructions." Yeah. And he said, "So I got that out, and I learned how to tie a knot." And I said, "Well, let's show me what you can do." So he got that out, and he fixed it up, and he tied up the perfect Palomar knot, tied that up, and tightened it up, and I said, "Well, you done just as good as I can do." Yeah. And I thought, so we went fishing last night, and I was over there on one side of the pond, and he's on the other side, and I seen him go to the truck to change tackle, and he walked over to the tackle box, and he was changing his baits, tying on different bait, trying different things. And I stood there, and for a while, Brother Ronnie, I sort of felt sad. I thought, you know, he used to holler, "Papa, come do this for me. Yeah. Papa, come." But then I realized he's being dependent, independent. He's learning to do things on his own.
Come on now.
And I thought, that's good.
Yeah.
But I thought, if we're not careful, because we learn to be so independent on the simple things of life, we fail to realize that we've still got to be dependent on God.
Right.
We've still got to put all our trust in God. I thought, it's not on what I can do. It's not on my ability. But it's everything that I do is totally upon God. You know, David, he went out, he fought the Philistines, and he overtook them. God delivered them in his hand. But then they come out and they spread themselves abroad again. God goes and inquires upon God, and God says, "No, you go away from them." But he said, "Because I will deliver them into thy hands."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was God that was going to do it. David, if he told David, "Yeah, go on down there and take care of them," David went down there and just wore out with them. Then David would have, maybe the next time, David would have inquired upon God, just took him on and said, "Let's go down and take care of them again." Because God wanted him to depend upon him for the direction, and he wanted him to wait until he heard the sound from God. I thought we need to wait until we hear the sound from God before we make any drastic moves in our life.
That's right.
That's good.
I thought there's a lot of things that we face with our children and our grandchildren that we wish we could control, and we wish we could handle,
Yes.
but we can't. You know, as long as Kinley, she almost stayed all night with us one time, and she stayed there, and she got in the bed, and the lights went out, and she decided she wanted mommy. So I don't remember if we took her in the middle of the night or I think Brother Lester came and got her, if I'm not mistaken. But she went back home, so Kenda's never spent the night with Mama and Papa all night long. And but Colin has always, I mean, ever since he's been a little bitty thing, I mean, he spent nights with us, week with us. I mean, just 2 or 3 nights at a time. But in the last little bit, he'll come and he'll stay at the house. And the last couple of times, about bedtime, he'll say, "I think I want to go home. I miss my mom." And I said, "Well, what do you do when you're in Paducah and you miss your mommy?" He said, "I know I can't have her then, so I just have to stay." He said, "But I know I can go home when I'm here." And, and that's fine. And we'll take him home. Last night he was able to stay. And he decided he wanted to go home. This morning I called him to go to church. He said he wasn't feeling well. And it makes my heart heavy. Because Mom and Dad ain't going to church, and they're out, and they might go hiking, or they might go do this, and he's home, and he gets to thinking about those things. And to a kid, that's more fun than going to church. But I thought, I can't do nothing about that, Brother Greg. But I can't put it in God's hands.
That's right.
And I can say, God, there's nothing that I can possibly, I can't put my hand on that no more. If I could, we was out doing something the other day, and he wanted to do something. I said, no, want his dad to do something. I said, you don't want to. And he said, he's your son, you go make him. And I said, son, if only it was that easy now, I would go do that. There's a lot of things I would make him do, but I can't. And he didn't understand it. I said, when you get older, you understand. There's things that your dad can't make you do no more. And I know, even though we would like to. But I thought, one thing I can do is I can trust it in God. And I thought, there's nothing I can do about it until I wait and hear the voice of God. Sister Kathy the other day, Dave was at the house. And, we usually don't say a lot. Because if you say a lot, sometimes Brother Bill knows what it just makes it worse. And but he was at the house the other day, and the situation arose, and Sister Kathy just gave him a straight line there for a few minutes. And when he left, and I said, well, how did he take it? She said, well, he didn't like it. But she said, I've been praying, Lord, whenever you give me the opportunity, then I'm going to say something.
That's it.
But until you give me that opportunity, I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Right.
But I thought we've got to wait on God.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because we can't drive that wedge. And I thought if we're not careful, we'll do things, and we'll get things and get our own feelings, our own thoughts, our own emotions all worked into things instead of waiting on God. You know, when David looked out and he saw those Philistines coming out again, no doubt he thought, boys, we're going to go tear them up again. I mean, his emotions, no doubt, they know that we've done it before, and here they are spreading themselves out in front of us. Let's go. But then he said, let's go inquire of God. And God said, wait. There are some times we look and we see things that we want to do, but we simply need to wait and listen for the voice of God. I've seen a lot of people make drastic changes in their lives without waiting on God. And every time I've ever seen that happen, it's only brought remorse. I've seen people make drastic changes and just up and get upset at the church and up and move and take their children and go somewhere else. And I see those children now that are grown, and their children don't even know what it means to be in the house of God. Because mom and dad were unstable and not willing to wait and listen to what it does say God. Listen for the voice of God. And I thought, and it's important when we hear the voice of God that we know the direction that God wants us to go. I thought there's been a lot of times that I've had opportunity, and I just simply said, I don't think it's the Lord's will. And I've said it before, I've had job offers that I could have probably made more money than what I make now. I know I could have made more money than what I make now. But I just didn't. But I knew. It ain't that I didn't. I just felt. I knew, Brother Bill, it wasn't the will of God. And I waited on the Lord. And when a lot of people say, well, you've waited for 30 years now. I guess I've waited for 30 years, Brother Ronnie. I guess I'll stay there. Yeah. But I thought the circumstances that we don't even see, but we still got to trust in God.
That's right.
God has never failed me yet. I thought whenever I was doing my best, and 2 kids at home, we pay all the bills, and we had on a good week $50 left to buy groceries, put gas in 2 cars, and whatever else we needed for the week. With 2 kids at home, that don't go very far. Most of us now, if we just had $50 less just a day, by the time we start sweating. And then that had to last us all week. But I thought not one time, Brother Ronnie, did we ever go hungry. That's right. We might have got tired of eating green beans and deer meat, but we never got hungry. I mean, I ate so much of it, I still like to hunt, but I almost feel guilty hunting because I got where I don't even care to eat the stuff no more. We ate so much of it. But I look back and I see how God took care of us. But each time we waited on God.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why the Lord laid this on my heart tonight. But I thought this morning as the service went on and Spirit moved on Sister Kathy like he did, and Brother Sparks preached like he did this morning, I thought it's easy, if we're not careful, to get caught up and get sidetracked and get our emotions and our own feelings caught up in situations and make a move and miss out on God.
That's right.
Miss out on God. I thought I don't want to do nothing that would cost me my experience with God, cost my children. There's been times that I really, I guess I've always been I don't know what you could say, but there was times that the enemy just about would have me conquered. And I began to think about my children. And I think, Lord, if I did get away from God, and if I did get back, my children may never get back.
Right.
And I would look at all those situations that I've seen where children are lost. And it was because mom and dad failed to keep themselves on the altar where they needed to be with God. And their children are missing out. And I thought, Lord, I don't want my children to be lost. I thought if they are, it's not, I hope they can say it ain't because something mom and dad done. But it's simply because mom and dad always try to be stable and put God first. I don't know why the Lord laid this on my heart, but maybe Brother Sparks got something, I don't know. He ain't, they come get us a song. But I thought, whatever it is that you're dealing with, wait and listen for the sound from God. Listen for the sound from God. And no matter whether it's whatever situation it is in your life, God's got direction for it. Whatever choice that you're making. And I thought, there's been times that I have, there's times that I might trade around with old cars and trade around some old trucks and stuff and just on the side. But whenever it comes to having a vehicle that I've got to depend on to get me work or to get me to church, or get Sister Kathy to the grocery store and back, something I got to depend on, then I've always wanted God's direction in making that decision. And there's been a few times that I just simply it's because of what I wanted, and I didn't trust in God and didn't wait on God, and I found myself in situations that I wished I wasn't in. And end up with something to drive that no matter how good it looked, if it don't run, it ain't good, it ain't no good. All because I simply didn't wait on God. Something that I wanted. Something that I felt like I wanted or I needed. But it's not about what we want or what we need necessarily. It's about what God wants for us. And I thought, well, if we put what God wants for us first and let Him provide all the needs for us, then there's some wants sometimes in there that He'll begin to let us have too. But I've learned that when we put God first, Brother Ronnie, and then He'll supply all our needs according to His riches and glory. And then sometimes those wants start coming in because our wants begin to change when we begin to put God first. Because what we want is no longer what we thought we wanted, because we want the will of God in our life. And our wants begin to change when we start listening for the voice of God. As they get us a song tonight, let's come and pray.
Hallelujah.
Jesus.
That's right.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Lord, Brother Ronnie testified. Oh, say something.